Good afternoon. Welcome to Absolutely Fish's Facebook Live for Friday, January 6th. My name is Glenn. I'm one of the managers here. I handle a lot of the coral ordering. I also run our aquaculture facility. The cameraman is Josh, who I will be speaking to during this. Sometimes when we get to some of the zoos and stuff with some of the more common names. I want to highlight some of the new stuff we got this week. What a lot of people don't understand is that the week before Christmas and between Christmas and New Year's, it's very hard for us to get product. It's hard to ship through the airlines. Sometimes the weight and the travel stuff gets bumped. So it's hard for us to get it. So this is the week when we really start filling up. And we actually kind of went a little crazy this week. We probably brought in about 20 boxes, Indo-Aussie. Josh brought back about 500 frags today for the frag system. So we're going to walk up and start at tank 1. I'm going to show you some of the new stuff. Some of the stuff that's been here that I wonder why it's been here because it's some of my personal favorites. Let's move up to tank 1. So this is the tank 1 here. Some of the first things you'll see is we actually added a conspic this week, which is actually fantastic. Let's see if we can get him to come out. We should probably throw some food.
He's a little shy.
Yeah, fantastic fish.
Here he is. You can kind of see him.
He's been here for a little while. We always like to keep one on display. We bounce him around between the 150 show, the 200. We thought we'd put this one in the front so it's some of the first things people see when they come in. Here he comes. Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's just a little shy.
Yep. And some of the items we have from this week too, we could actually use this so we can break up the surface. One of my favorites is this yellow, like lemon lime goniastria. That's an Australian coral. In the brain family, super hardy, and actually super fraggable. It's something we're able to frag when we go around the coralites with the saw. That's a great piece. Something that's been here a while is this massive boulder of fire and ice zoos. I know it's one of Josh's favorites. That's a great piece, easily fraggable if you want to trade with friends and stuff like that. One of my personal faves. Actually, too, this awesome Australamusa, kind of a Superman, like a red and blue. Fantastic coral, another one. This has been here literally probably 2 months, and if I had a tank, this is one I would have. It's one of my favorites. It's called an orange eye moonstone. But instead of just being like the regular orange eye moonstone, like that one there, it's actually marbled and has the orange eyes, so that's just a killer piece. Another Australamusa called the black eye Australamusa, another big Australian coral, fantastic. Here's a massive show colony of these golden pallies. Do they have a technical name? What are they? Armors?
Like golden malls or something like that.
Yeah, golden malls or golden armies they call them. But this is a massive piece of gold. It's kind of hard to tell, but when you take the whites down, you can really see the pink skirts and the bright orange centers. That's a fantastic coral. Obviously, you can see it grows like crazy. That's something we also frag here. When we make it around to the frag tanks, you can see we have a bunch of these in the $7.99, $9.99 range. Another awesome piece.
They grow fast, too.
Yeah, let's put the whites back up. Also some really cool, you can do it through the front glass here, some cycloplates. You have a nice orange with like the blue center. This one they call a pinwheel. Probably hard to tell in the clarity of the phone, but you can see the stripes and stuff in it. It's fantastic. And just your regular green cyclo, like a light green, when we make it around the corner, you'll see a very neon version of that we got from Australia this week. Now, the next tank is generally where we keep a lot of the high-end Australian stuff. There is some insane wolves in this tank right now. People are pretty much going nuts. We'll start on the left side. In the back, red Gonapora, but the yellow eye variant. Very nice piece. This is something we also have frags of, so if you can't afford a giant 4 or 5 inch piece, you can get a small little frag, probably in the $40 range. Very cool. In front of that is a Pectinia. Now you'll see there's a green with kind of a blue center and some orange. Probably again hard to tell on the phone. The blues kind of shock them out a little. But also a really, really nice coral. In front of that, we have aquaculture red Gonapora with the blue tips. That's another super popular one we sell like crazy.
Does very well in tanks, too.
Super hardy. We frag that up. We also have the plain pink Goni, which we also frag. We have frags of most of the stuff we're going to talk about today, by the way. I'm sure you're familiar with jawbreaker mushrooms. That's the Eclectus variant with the bright red blotches. Behind that, which came this week, it's kind of hard to tell with the blues, is fantastic grafted chalice. So you have like the alien eye blue body with the green eyes, and then you have the red body with the orange eyes on the same piece grafted together. Josh is going to try and reach the controller, maybe give you some whites, see if that helps. There you go.
Yeah, it's much better. a little bit more.
Yeah, it's coming up much nicer. Now you can actually see it's kind of a pink and purple with the orange eyes and then the blue with the green eyes. Super rare piece. Sometimes these guys, when they're in the 6, 8-inch range, you know, they go for almost $1,000 sometimes. But you can get a small frag of it now, nice and easy. So maybe take the blues down a little bit again.
You might go more white or more blue?
More blue, like you had it before, so they could see the giant Hille.
Hold on, bear with me. There we go.
And again, another Goniastria. We're going to go through 3 or 4 different color varieties of the one we saw on the front, the lemon lime. This is another Goniastria australis, but this time instead of being that limeade, it's like marbled with purple and green. Another amazing piece. Next to him, another Aussie favorite is the Dragon Soul Fabia. We also have frags of this. Another amazing piece where you get the red body, blue inlay with the bright, bright green eyes. Again, easily fraggable, another piece. We're probably going to have to pull back for the next one because there is a massive Bower Bank Eye, black hole or bullet hole they call them. This is fantastic. This has to be, I'd say 10 by 11 to 12 across.
About the size of like a basketball.
I mean, the guys that frag would go nuts for this because one of these eyes could be $50 to $80 at a time. So this is an amazing piece. I definitely don't want to cut it up. I like keeping the stuff whole when I can. One of my favorite Bowers. We're going to go through 2 or 3 other Bowers we have, by the way. Below that is an insane coral, which is one of my favorites. And I've only ever had 2 in this color variety, and the last one went out literally out of the bag. This is what used to be Cinerina. Now they think they label them Indophilia, but it's the hot pink, and the whole inside is neon orange, like flames. It is unbelievable. So that's a fantastic coral. Like, you know, 25, 30 years I've been doing this here. This is the second one I've ever had. So very, very rare. That's something that goes for insane prices online. You can own one, you know, half of what they go for online. And there's 2 other variants of him too. We also have the regular pink with the bright green eye. Very nice. And then one more, another with the pink and the orange, but much smaller. He's probably only 2 inches across. But then again, it's half the price of the big one. So it's something, you know, get it and grow it out. You can actually feed them meaty foods like chunks of silver sides. They will engulf them and grow even faster. So one of my favorite corals, super hardy. Always favorite, the Australian Blasto. That's a Wellesley. It's got the bright, bright red outsides, neon green insides with a little bit of purpley blue highlights. Another coral, again, super easy to frag. That's something that's always on, you know, a single head, $20 to $30. So that's a really nice coral. Again, another mega, mega rare. 25 years again. This is only the second one of these I've ever had. The first one, I don't know if anybody else has ever had, and we brought it to Reefa Palooza, and they were going nuts because nobody knew what it was. We had individual eyes of it. It comes out of Darwin, Australia, and it's a type of Fabia, but it's got like a mustardy yellow, then goes into a red center, and then these bright, like teal blue centers. It's an amazing piece. 3 or 4 eyes of this go for about $80, but it's a fantastic coral. So if you want one uncut, I'd stop in and try and check this out. Because when I got rid of the last one, I didn't think I'd ever see one again. I was able to score one. Let's jump up. Obviously, super common, have them all the time, but you still can't keep them in stock, is the Duncans, Axophugia. They grow kind of in 2 shapes, kind of like a table like this where they're tight, and then kind of branchy like this where they're a little more spread out. Again, super hardy, super popular coral. You could buy one head, feed it mysis, and you'd have a little colony in a couple of months. They come in so many color varieties, from this light green to the purple with the green bodies. They even grow kind of neat when they're small. Let's jump back right again. This is like a small version of it. You can see how it kind of tables out and they just start shooting up, and you can see where the heads split and they start growing into new heads. Super hardy coral, easy to frag. You could hand feed it mysis. One of our all-time favorite Aussie corals. We really can't get enough of them.
Yeah, Duncan's like the poster child for an easy LPS.
And bring the blues down one more time because I want to show these rainbows that we don't get too often either. Now across the bottom, we brought in some rainbow Trachyphilias that were just out of this world this week. There was 3 available. We scored all 3. Like I said, this is the week where we just go nuts and buy as much as we can because it's really the first shipping week. So here you have a rainbow with like the purple inside into green with the blue striping and the red and the marbling, like the yellow green, just fantastic. The one in the center is my favorite. This is just crazy. If you look at it, it's just marbled everywhere.
It's like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Blues, greens, purples. It's just crazy. And if you want even bigger, next to that, totally different pattern between all 3 of these. All 3 are amazing. But this one is like the red and the purple, but the green is striped instead of marbled. Another fantastic coral, unbelievable.
About the size of a baseball,
Yeah.
too.
We jump up into 3 versions of the Australian hammer. You have, let's start with the toxic. Far right, this is what they call toxic because it's kind of a yellowy green, not like the Indonesian hammers, so it's way more yellow. That's always a favorite one. Then you get into the marble, which is, the darker green with the purple marbling and the flaking in the skin you can see there. Another fantastic one. And then you can get into a combo where you have a mix of the toxic and the marbling on the same piece. Now this is a massive, I'd say 11-inch piece, probably by 7-inch. Don't usually get them that large, but it's just a beautiful specimen. We've had it for a while.
About 20
Also
heads or so.
one of my favorites. I mean, yeah, there's got to be 30 or 40 heads. I mean, if you broke it up, you're literally talking 40, 50 a head. So it's just an amazing piece. The fraggers take them and make a ton of money on them.
You don't see large colonies like this, so the value in the corals this size is
We're going to
apparent.
go through a couple variants of this coral too. One of our guys here, the freshwater manager, Mike D, loves Alveopora. So every time I buy him, I try and buy some for him. This is an Australian variant, which we don't really get too often. It's like a solid little golf ball, but the eyes are orange. So it's green with orange centers. There's 3 of them. They usually come kind of flat. They don't kind of come this way sometimes. So it's really unique to see them this week. So I bought 3 of those. You'll see a blue one when we get a couple tanks down. To the left of him is the Australian green polypsarca. I mean, you can see how green and fuzzy that is. That's an awesome nano one that's literally like 2 inches. 90% of the time we get 5 to 6 inch ones, so it's kind of cool to see, a wild one this size. Again, when we get around, you're going to see our version that we frag at the facility in the $50 tanks, which are also just as amazing as this. Behind him, always popular, chalice coral, something like a hurricane or a Miami. Bright red eyes, super yellow nodules with the lime green body, fantastic. This coral, I don't know why out of all the chalices, this guy's killed about 4 corals in this tank.
Yeah, I had to give him a
Sometimes we
good
come in
5-inch
and he'll
spread.
reach 8 inches and just knock out a coral to the right of him. So this guy is like super tough. I don't know what's up with that chalice. He's crazy. Behind it, we have what we call like a lava or a volcano. The red and green body with the bright orange eyes on the outside. That's a fantastic piece to frag up and share. Another hardy coral. But this guy hasn't stung a thing. But this guy, everybody around him just wallops him.
Yeah, we're going to have to give him a little space later on.
Let's just hit this one blasto here just to see the different variety of the same one we just saw before. So now here's another Wellesley, but instead of having the solid green center, the green is on the outside with purple striping going to the center. So another really cool variant of the common coral.
We'll go back to the other one just to see the
Yeah, just
comparison.
the difference. And we're going to hit, if you want to even hit a third, which we didn't mention because it was behind the Duncan, there's a solid red of the exact same Wellesley.
Yeah, this is my personal
Yeah,
favorite.
it comes in so many varieties. They even get them in orange centers, like the Ironmans, they call them.
All right.
Well, there's some Rainbow Lords we could skim by since we're down.
Yeah.
Now Micromusa, I believe.
Been re-described as Micromusa Lord
There's a
Halwensis.
rainbow, and then there's a smaller little rainbow to the left of them. We've got another red with yellow eyes right here. It's actually kind of cool. Yeah, you can see, see the bright orange and yellow eyes. Tentacles are all out because we were feeding earlier.
Yep. Lords are by far one of the easiest LPS to
We'll
keep.
take one more stop in this tank before we jump. Scolies, another offsuit that's always popular. This came in as a master because it's hard to tell on the phone, but there's some orange spangling in the center. So you have the light green, the dark red, the light red, and then you can see the orange around his mouth. A little to the right of him, a little war paint. You got the purple, the red, with the teal spangling on the outside and other things. And these are also great corals. You can hand feed them pellets. We soak pellets in like amino acids or seed. We drop them right on the center, and they just blow up on us. So the next tank. Now this is some more Aussie stuff, and now we're going to mix in some Indo stuff. There's some giant Indo hammers in here, but we'll start on the right side before we jump too far. Here's some awesome Wells affiliates and track affiliates. We're jumping down in price range because they're not the rainbows, but they're still fantastic. So you have the red and purple with the neon centers, the spangled red and greens. This is almost like a starter hard coral. Like if you have your tank set up and you're ready to start trying the waters with something LPS based, they're very, very hardy. We rarely ever lose any type of Wellesley or Tracky. It's only if it falls or gets stongs or something nips it. So I like to consider one of the best starter LPS to try. And you can get a green around $39.99. So it's something great if you want to really test the waters with that.
I see one comment here from LMD DML. The blacklight that we have for the display on the display tanks It's not just for living, but not just for the display. The corals do fluorescent with the coloration, but a lot of these brain corals you'll find in deeper water. Typically, you'll find these hammers and these brain corals and most of the stuff at around 40 feet of water where the light doesn't get very deep. It's more essential for the LPS health and keeping them in better shape to keep them under a lower light, and you can keep it a little more blue to keep them healthy. So just wanted to answer that comment.
Excellent. So back to this tank, we have both of these two tanks coming up, are giant colonies. They're just combo zoos that are wild, some Aussie, some Vietnam stuff. You'll have something, I believe Green Bay Packers you call them, or something similar. They're not exactly, but they're wild, so it's hard to match something that came from a tank.
Yeah.
Here's some nice hot pinks right here. Got a hermit crab running across them, so he's closing them up.
Yeah.
Also, tons of frilly mushrooms this week. The purple bodies with the bright green. I literally have a dozen pieces. I'm going to flip around because I'm right-handed, because the next Goniastria I want to show you, we saw the two types. This one they call the Galaxy because it looks like a spangling of like stars or something in it. That's a fantastic coral. I don't know if the phone's picking it all up. Again, easily fraggable, but you can see just a flaking of neon on top of the purple, so that's a fantastic piece that I always try to buy when I see him. Right behind him, Black-Eyed Chalice, another really awesome piece. You can just see the contrast, like the green to the dark, dark black to the green again. That's something that they sell frags for, $50 an eye, $60 an eye. I just love the shape of it. I'm not up to cutting it up because I just love how he looks. Like we were saying before, the big Indo stuff, here's a giant wall hammer. So if you have a big tank, you need to soak up some space, here's like a 10-inch wall hammer, probably by about 5-inch tall. So that's a great piece. So he only came in last night, so he's not fully open. When he is fully open, he will fill out this whole wall. It'll just be a wall of anchors, basically. Ever popular, let's do the Yumas.
Yeah.
These are Recordia Yuma, bright purple body, orange speckles. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 on the rock. There might be a couple on the far side. Easily fraggable, always popular with the reefers. One of my favorites is this odd Symphilia. You can hope the phone is kind of picking it up. You can see the interior is like a bright burnt orange, and then the outside is like a maroon. Just the contrast on that is really wild. Yeah, it looks actually nice too, yeah. Here's a nice, next to him, his little brother here. Here's a Lobo. Hard to tell, but the eyes inside are bright green.
Try to get you guys.
Yeah, he's open so much, he's actually closing the eyes. We just fed a little while, like I said, so he's probably full. But you can see the bright, bright green right there poking through. So in person, you're looking at like a maroon, white speckled with bright green eyes, another fantastic one. Here's another one, we've seen a couple Bowers and Hilles already. Here's a maroon with the teal splats with like a bright kind of striped eye that's almost black. Another black hole Bower, they would call it. That's a really cool one that you see frags for at Reeferpalooza. Like we were saying before with the hardiness of the trackies and wellsies, here's some just wellsies. This is like a $60, $70 coral. Great starter LPS. You can see how fluffy and bushy they are. You could literally hand feed these guys. So like I said, great starter coral. Jumping up, alveos. This is from Mike D. Like the one we showed you before, grows like a ball. This is how they generally grow. More of like a flat body. I'm actually going to close them up a little so you guys can see what the skeleton looks like. And you can see they kind of grow flat. But again, this is like a teal instead of that bright green with the colored eyes. This is with a more popular type. Very, very cool piece.
I got another comment here from Jake asking what we feed our corals. Typically, we only feed on Monday and Friday. We feed them a mixture of Red Sea Reef Energy. We'll even include a little bit of, we've been using Polyp Labs Reefroids, but we also use a Caricoralific diet. It's another one that we like using.
We'll also mix in the Calanus sometimes, give it some of the astaxanthin. It really makes the reds and these Lobos and Scolies just brighten up.
Yeah, once they open up, usually the LPS will feed them a little bit of PE mysis or whatever frozen food we have thawed out for the day. That's what the LPS typically eat up.
Yep. Ready to move on?
Yep, ready to go.
Another one of my favorites because it's easily fraggable. A lot of people hate them, to be honest with you, and it's understandable. This is Galaxia coral. If people like movement and LPS, it's a great coral. The downfall, if the phone can pick it up, do you see these extensions here flying around? See the little dots flying in the air? Those are stingers. I mean, anything that thing touches, kind of like we were talking about the chalice before, it's literally going to melt it. It will bring it right to the bone. It's a super, super aggressive coral. But on the other hand, it's an amazing looking coral. It's just wavy all the time. Always the currents moving it around. So it's a beautiful, hardy coral. you have to give it its space. Anytime we have them here, you'll generally see them in the top left or top right of any tank, so the current keeps the tentacles away from the other corals. Like I said, it'll just melt them. But again, super hardy, so we still love them.
We actually just brought a couple frags of it right now.
Yeah, let's jump into the next one. We kind of covered a lot of this.
This is tank 4.
This is the main zoo tank of the wild stuff we brought in this week. Tons of stuff, but let's start over here because this is something that's been here 6 months, 8 months, I'm not even sure, and I love it. I don't understand why. We have frags of it. This is a brain from Darwin, like we said before, but it's 2 complete species in a dead straight line grown together, almost grafted. It's unbelievable. So you have something that looks like a war with the red and blue centers, and then you have a bright teal with purple splashing in it. It's just amazing how it's just a straight line of 2 corals together. So I just love it. I can't believe it's still here. One of my favorites. Up to the left, a little bit of Davisi or frog spawn. You can tell why they call that. It looks like frog eggs. This is a nice dark green body with the blue tips. Not a variety we see that often. Not to be confused with the branchy Paradivisi, more of the wall type. More of the frilly mushrooms we saw. Another personal favorite. I'm going to use my hand on this one so you can really get the effect. This is lithophyton. This is something that we actually frag up ourselves. Very cool piece. You can see all the eyes. You can see the growth of how they grow underneath. You can actually frag them with your hand and snap them. I might have some in the frag tanks when we roll around later, but this is one of our favorites. Kind of like a reef keeper's nerd coral there. And then here's all the zoos. Josh is going to maybe jump in, but because some of these are so mixed, like you see, I guess like an eagle eye variant here, which is really wild.
There are a few eagle eyes here. A lot of these are eagles, which are the red center, and then they have a green skirt.
And that's fantastic.
And then we have a couple other rocks that have what we call radioactive dragon eyes. These are just bright green with a green skirt, neon color, very easy to keep. Moving through, there actually are a few here that I do not even know what they are. I think these are blueberry fields. Yeah. Very, very nice corals. Zoos are like the poster child for any soft. It's very easy to keep. And for anybody who collects them, there's some polyps. I actually saw an article from Refielders a while ago. The 2 polyps went for almost $2,500. These aren't anywhere close to that. These are,
and the phone isn't picking it up, but in person you have like a dotted yellow skirt kind of to say, but the inside is like a peachy kind of bright teal. It's actually a really fantastic color, and looking at the phone, it's not really doing it.
Hold on, technical difficulty. There we go, it's better coloration.
The white helps anymore. Yeah, you can see a little bit of the peach now with the whites on, but still it's way brighter in person than the phone is picking up. In front of them, kind of a similar, almost a yellowy orange kind of, which is really nice. And maybe drop down, because you got some bright greens here, maybe like a money zoo. And then there is some blues mixed in between them. So if you look really close, you can score some super blues in here with the greens.
There's like a little really hornet hidden in there too.
Yeah, and this is something, I don't know exactly, it's a cross between the green bait and eagle eye.
I really can't tell you. This is actually really cool.
Yeah, it's like when you get them out of the ocean, there's so many variants, so it's hard to give them an exact name. There's another Goniastria hiding back there, similar to the galaxy we saw before. Nothing crazy.
There's another cool one. We got the Christmas worms over here too.
Yeah, you have Porites with bisma worms coming out of the rock in blues and yellows. That's really fantastic. Ready? Watch that blue worm there. Bye. So that's a really cool one. It's actually a symbiotic relationship between the worm and the Porites they live in. Very, very cool coral. We only get a couple a year of those.
I got another question here from Jake. It's how do we frag our corals? We typically do 2 ways here. We have a bandsaw, like a Griffin Diamond bandsaw for the stony corals that we use to make a clean cut straight through them, and then we dip them in iodine to heal any bacterial issues. And we'll mount them on frag plugs and stuff like that. When it comes to the zoanthids, we typically, what we'll do is we'll get them to grow off onto a tile. We'll snap that tile up and cut it up into pieces, and we'll actually move the little bits on the frag plug so you guys can take home. It's a case-by-case scenario, though, but typically it's grow-outs.
I actually find that when we do, like, Monty caps that are flat, I actually find hand-breaking them works better than the saw. The saw almost damages too much coralites on them, so when you snap them in your hand, it's almost like something in the ocean hit them, and they're in grow mode. Like, all right, we just broke, we got to grow. I find it's a lot less stressful, and we do way better by hand doing the Monties than actually cutting them.
And then I have one more. I got one more question from LMD. Can all these corals be housed with fish? Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely house these with fish.
We just don't do it for ease. We don't like to feed a lot because we help to keep the algae down and the flow up. But like you saw, we have a conspic in the front. When we get to the SPS tank in the back, you're going to see massive chevron tank, domino damsels. There's actually almost a, I'd say, 15-year-old dwarf canary eel in there. So that's another cool fish we're going to see. So you absolutely can put fish in there. But I am for trying to keep the lightest fish load that you can to keep the waste down and nitrates, you know, stuff like that. And there's definitely one more thing I got to show you here before we jump away. Actually, two things of mine. One of my favorites is these lunar eclipse.
They're really big pallies.
Yeah, they're huge. You can see it compared to this. It's bigger, almost in this poker. And you got the dark blue center with the striping and the bright red skirts. Again, way brighter in person. And another weird one that's hidden in the back that's been here for like 3 months, and I can't believe it. This is a war coral, Fabia pensagona they call it. But it's grafted kind of marbly between the blue version and the red version on the same piece. You're going to see some amazing frags of this when we go around that we do ourselves that look even better than this. They're almost purple. And they're only literally like $25. You can have this amazing coral.
And I have another question here from Marcella. She's asking why we don't have red algae growing on our corals and how do we keep it away. We actually do a lot of the maintenance here ourselves. We do pretty decent sized water changes pretty much either every day or every other day. We also keep a lot of utility fish in these systems ranging from blennies, and mostly we rely on tangs. You really do the brunt of the algae removal work around here.
You realize we go through, 500 snails and hermits through these tanks in a week. Every week we order hundreds of both of those. So they're doing a job, but it also backs up to what we just said about the light fish load. Keeping a low fish load, you're able to do that. And not keeping a substrate, which I don't recommend at all. That's up to you. I like bare bottom tanks. I'm okay with the chlorine growing because now when the dirt builds up, you instantly suck it out, so you keep the nutrient load low. There's nowhere for piles of waste to be sitting. We'll actually blow behind the rocks, desilt the front from time to time. Once a year, or almost every 2 years, we'll actually do a complete breakdown or a half breakdown to get all the dead shells and stuff out of the back. So high flow, a little bit more on the blue spectrum, and just keeping a low fish load helps keep the algae down. Plus, us scrubbing it too. Also helps.
We do a little manual removal ourselves, but these fish definitely help when we can't get in certain places.
Let's just do a pass of the torches before we go across. You have two versions. You have the ghost, the purple with the gold tips, and then you have the green with the white tips, the Australian version. Also fraggable, popular, because a lot of people want the coral that move. Yeah, the eagles are beautiful, the war is beautiful, the colors are beautiful. People want to see movement, so a torch, a hammer, a frog spawn is one of the best you can do for that. Or the galaxy if you put it in the right spot, like we were saying. And if you like movement, let's jump over here, because here's some massive Australian blue tip elegance. Fantastic coloration on these this week. Totally striped interiors with bright purple tips. I'm not going to lie, it's a tough coral to keep. You really got to be on your coral game to keep them. They actually come from water, not as clean as most coral do. They're found in more turbid waters, so they're used to more nutrient loads. So in that respect, in a nutrient-deprived tank, we have to feed them. So we'll do silver sides, we'll do mysis. Even at that, it's still a moderately tough coral to keep. So I don't want to lie to you and tell you they're hardy. They're definitely challenging, so you've got to be on your game. In this tank, this is our SPS tank. It's loaded right now because we just ran out of room for everything. So you will see some soft stuff in here. But we do keep soft in SPS a lot. So in this tank are some amazing corals. On the back of this, Josh has been growing a nice Hawkins echinata. The fish are probably going to bite me because that's what they do. They're super ferocious. They're 20-year-old nigrips clowns that lay eggs all the time, so they're just protecting the anemone there. But this is a beautiful Hawkins echinata that Josh grew on him 6 months ago maybe, and you can see the size of it already.
A little bit longer.
Fantastic. We brought in a couple aquaculture pieces this week. This purple bonsai with the green. I love every type of Cyphastria. This neon lime green is just one of my things I like. There's one up top here that actually has almost barnacles growing in it. This blue and green Cyphastria.
You think barnacles?
Really wild. You can see sometimes little
barnacles.
Little like fingers popping out of them. That's a really cool piece. You can see the detail on it. Again, back to highlight soft corals. Right to the left. This is what I call a Tonga sarco, doing this 20-something years. They come out as Fiji sarcos, but it is a bright gold toadstool. They don't really ever get bigger than about 4 to 5 inches. They'll just start budding off, but you don't usually see bright yellow sarcos like that. So that's always one of my favorites. There was a while where, like almost 2 years, I couldn't get them. They just disappeared. Maybe collection station closed, but they've just recently started resurfacing again. So great soft coral to go in a highlight area where you may not want an acro or something. They'll take every bit of radion that these acros take. Without it, you can see he's fully open.
And you'll step on these in the wild if you ever go diving in the Indo-Pacific.
Fantastic. Again, to the back of the box.
Oh, it's my baby.
Yeah, this is Josh's baby here.
just a really big strawberry shortcake acro.
Started off as a 1-inch nub from a shipment that just broke off.
Yeah, we've had it for almost about a year now.
I'd say a year.
Yeah, never fragged, just constantly grown. What they do basically is encrust in the back wall, and once they have a foothold like that, they'll shoot out a big table, and that's how they get most of their energy, from covering a lot of surface area to get all the...
blocking out the guys below them.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the only problem. But
right. We move them.
Yeah, we'll move them around. We usually work around the stuff.
Beautiful. Next is that giant green Aussie stag.
How is this still here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's an amazing piece. Neon green. It's got all new tips from being here.
Oh,
you can see there's an inch and a half on that thing from being here.
Yeah, there's like good 1.5 to 2-inch pieces. All the light stuff you see growing on a lot of these SPS in the tank is all brand new growth that they've just put on these tanks themselves.
We also been throwing some of the clams back here as of late, just because of the high flow, and we feed this tank more than the other tanks because of the fish. These are aquacultured Tridacna duraces. Beautiful. They got to be pushing 5 inches. There's the 2 variants, the marbled with the big blotches and the striped. Don't know if the phone could pick up, but seriously bright blue lips and blue spotting around the mouths and siphons. Another amazing piece.
Yeah, we get these clams. A lot of the duraces we get, in fact, most of them we usually get from Ocean Reefs Aquariums, ORA. They're based in Florida. They produce a lot of really cool frags and clams.
To go with a wild clam, to go against that, here is a bright blue maxima. He actually saw me coming, so he kind of closed up. But you can see him opening up now. Bright purple lips with blue spotting all throughout it. We had 6, we're down to 1, because I don't get them that often, so they are quite popular. Another great leather for the SPS tank. Down here on the right, we have smaller versions, obviously. This is a yellow devil's hand, they call it. Really fingery. It usually opens with bright gold little polyps. Another beautiful example of a yellow tonga if you want to hit it before we go to that frag rack. Beautiful bright yellow tonga, only about 3 inches. So if you're looking for a highlight leather, I'm telling you, that's where it's at. So as of late, we've been trying to bring in some more higher end SPS, but we're not a fan of the 8 cans, can really keep them long term like that. So obviously the G4 Radions are fantastic for that. That's what we obviously grow this stuff under, and we also use it at the facility. So we did put a rack in here to bring some of the higher end stuff. We're probably going to remove some rack and do maybe a nice blue glow, real fancy rack, but this is some time for now because we're just out of space. But some of the favorites in here are like some of the classics. Slimer, everybody that owns an SPS tank should have a green Slimer. Fantastic growth, neon green, always fuzzy, amazing. One of my favorites, I'm going to jump over a little bit because I don't get it that often, it's hard to come by. We were talking about Cyphastrias and all the varieties they come in. There's one variety that actually branches out, and it's like bumpy and giant polyps, kind of like an octocoral. It's actually amazing, this branching Cyphastria. Just imagine a bumpy acro this shape, like with these giant red coralites, a fantastic coral, very hardy. I mean, can't even see the plugs anymore. These things are probably only a couple weeks old, so super fast growth. Look at the one behind it right here. Look at the growth on it. You can't even see the plug. There's no plug anymore.
Yeah, this thing just pretty much took over.
Unbelievable. I'm a fan of Montes too, so we have all the weird Montes, grafteds. Let's look at this one. Jump back to this bad boy out here.
Well, you have a little crow we're keeping in here as well.
So you have the marbling, all the new growth on the lips. We have some small versions of it for sale. Then there's like the Season's Greetings, the green body, bright red polyps, bright green body, purple lip. This is pink with green polyps. Like the pink is hard to show up on the phone. You can see it's almost like blurring it out. It's so pink. They call it like a ratchet Monty. That's really cool. Forest Fire Digitata is the branching version of a Monty, which is fantastic. Got a couple Setosas hidden in here. The hot pink Monty Setosa.
Oh, the weirdest SPS we keep. They're really, really cool.
Sometimes they grow flat. Sometimes they grow like cactus. Totally weird. One of my favorites. I got a little Hawkins hiding in here. A little Echinata. I'm going to let Josh tell you about these because he grew these himself in his tank, and we've been fragging them at the facility. This is a fantastic stylo.
Yeah, this is, we call them Grimace stylos. They look like the big shaggy purple thing from the McDonald's commercials. It's probably the easiest SPS you could possibly keep. They grow fast, they look really cool, they're really fuzzy with a good polyp extension, and they really won that team very well.
We have them from like $14.99 and up. We have even small nubs. And literally, we have to frag these down. They grow so fast sometimes. So you can get a nub of this for 15 or 20 bucks and have a colony in like a couple of months. It's really a fast grower. There's another one hiding back here too. This Monty with bright blue polyps, like blueberry polyps. That's really wild.
There's some little red planets right below it.
Yep.
It's a really good red tabling acro. They usually do really well in most tanks. They do need strong light because they can turn green otherwise. But otherwise, they're usually a coral that does very well in most tanks, even if you're just starting off with basic SBS.
Ooh, so we'll roll over and look at some of the other high-end frags we have hidden in this tank over here. This is where we keep a lot of, like we said, the higher-end stuff. Some of the stuff we have sold that we bring to some of our maintenance clients and stuff like that. Some of it, even if it is sold, is available sometimes if you ask us, because we have multiples of it. If I don't have it here, I take your name, I bring it from the facility. So if you ever see something in here, even if it says sold, come and see us, because usually we can work it out and find you a piece of it, whether it's in another tank somewhere. So let's look at some of the really cool things. We were talking before about the War, the one I loved that was grafted. If we can get on the top here, without me disturbing the surface too much, here is some war coral, the bright red with the green, which is fantastic, just neon. You're literally getting a 1x1 tile that's already over the tile for like $29.99. And to the right of it is the same coral, but grafted with the purple and the red on the same piece. Fantastic. You're going to get the version of the cyphastria in this tank, probably 5 different types we're going to go over. The green with the orange eyes, meteor shower, we'll have blue and orange, bizarro. Next shelf, this is the lithophyllon we were talking about, like the reef keeper's coral, the nerd coral we call it. Nothing fancy, just green, but grows fast, easy to frag. The eyes actually come out kind of teal blue, so it's one of our favorites. Here's Josh's stylos we were talking about, those bright grimace purples. That's all you need is a nub of that to get a whole colony in a few months. Another fantastic piece. Something we didn't mention too is, and we have it everywhere, we just skimmed over it 4 or 5 times, we have this green fuzzy bacillipora that we grow in literally every tank here like crazy. It's growing on the lock lines. But we have like football-sized colonies at the aquaculture. So you can literally get a piece of this for $7.99 and just grow it out into a monster colony and frag it as you need it. Super fast grower. Here's the other 2 cyphastrias we were just talking about.
Yeah, these are the
bizarro,
bizarros.
blue and orange. And then you have a purple with a green eye. I don't know what you want to call that, an alien or something. Another fantastic piece. If we jump up to the next rack, here's the Dragon Soul Fabia we were talking about. So instead of a $200 brain, here's one for 40 bucks or 30 bucks. Start your own colony. You already got double heads on them. Purple Death Pallies, my favorite. Obviously, I don't have to
Can't
tell
really
you,
see them all that well,
they
but
are insane purple, like grimace purple.
yeah, of all the pallies that grow at the facility, these guys are usually the ones that grow the best.
Yeah.
These are a particularly nice strain too.
Again, Pallies, be careful, do your research. Up top, black-eyed, we were talking about before, giant colony. Here's a nice, beautiful starter piece. One of my favorites. It's amazing. If you jump over to the right, here's our high-end rack, where we have blastos in mixed colonies, reds and blues, these nice green with the spots and spangling on them. That's fantastic.
That's Leptoceras too.
Beautiful. I was just about to say, we have a couple varieties of Leptoceras. Solid red, just like that. Lava. Red and orange, beautiful striped volcano, already growing straight off the plug. And the most famous, the jack-o'-lantern, bright orange, neon yellow, lime green eyes. Super popular. One of my favorites. We grow that. Even like when we started, we were talking about all the Ghani varieties. Here they are, blue-green eyes, red-blue eyes. Here you got some purples, pink with yellow eyes. So we have all the varieties here if you just want to try a small piece. You don't always have to get a giant colony. Black-eyed brain right here, really cool.
I think it's spotted gyro. We're not even sure what this is.
It's hard to see how black the eyes are. That's really cool. Another, can you see the raptor they call it? It's purple flavia. It's a bright neon green stripes with a bright purple eye. One of my other favorites. Beautiful, cool. Don't get that one too often. And again, every variety of acan lord you can imagine. Blues and reds, greens and purples, all the different types. Super hard, pellet feed, something easy to frag, share with your friends to trade colors, increase your quantities.
The other good thing that's really good for the LPS especially is, especially the acans, they do appreciate a good amount of blue light and good feeding.
Yeah.
We'll feed these guys some mysis, some pellets here and there, but the blue light is really what helps them keep their rainbow color. But in lieu of that white light, you do need to make sure they get their nutrition. There are a good amount of pellet foods out nowadays to help keep them like that.
Can you see this next to them? Another type of acan, but an echinata, bright orange and blue. That's a really popular one. It just grows in sheets of orange. Really cool. Let's go over some of the zoos here, Josh. Some of your stuff that you like. Utter Chaos.
Everybody knows Utter Chaos. These are my personal favorites.
These are what, your Sunny D?
These are the rainbow infusions, actually. These originated from cornbread corals, and they've been widely fragged now. We have the rainbow infusions. What else do we have? I know we have a bunch of Sunny Ds. These came from our systems here.
They always grow tall up there. Why they always like reaching? See how they're always tall?
I have them grow like that at home too. They're a little weird.
Over here, these are your Lily Valentines.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cool.
Well, Valentine's Day Massacres, Magicians. You also see a few more of the Rainbow Infusions.
Like that? What's that? That's nice.
I really don't even know what some of these are.
It's like a half Krakatoa or something.
Yeah.
But here's the regular Krakatoa up here.
Yeah, we have pink Krakatoas from Worldwide Corals. We have pink elephants.
Pink elephants.
I actually kind of like these. You don't see the yellow and the pink a lot in the hobby.
This is that, I don't know why they call it, that's that Captain America, even though it's green and blue and red.
Doesn't even look like a shield.
Yeah, I don't know why they're calling it that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we did have Hornets. Those ended up selling, I think.
There's Rastas. Rastas for the nice little
Everybody knows what Rastas are. They're the LPS Keepers polyp of choice. Just can't get a good shot. We're getting a little bit of glare. There we go. We do grow our own zoanthids here. I take care of most of the zoanthid culture in here.
Is that the rainbows again? Here, I'll pull the light this way.
Yeah, bigger, big chunk of some of these. These grow like wildfire.
Lime green, orange, blue skirts. That's fantastic.
I started with 2 polyps of these in my tank at home. I ended up with like 80. And that's after I fragged them a few times.
So, once again, today, Josh literally brought over 2 containers. I'd have to say 400 to 500 frags. If you want to get a long shot, the tanks are completely packed. We'll do a quick couple of highlights, and then guys got to come in and check them out because there's some insane stuff right now. Again, even going in the cheaper rack, there's the purple Grafted Wars. Fantastic. The weird Darwin brains we were talking about, I probably have 8 frags of that left before they disappear for good, so that's a really good one to score. Nice Goniastria Galaxy frags. Like I said, all that expensive stuff, we have smaller versions of it. You know what I mean? If you have a small tank, a nano tank, super long GSPs, not all the way open because you just put them in. Something you don't see a lot too. We like the frag Pagoda. It's one of our favorites. Has the bright green body with these like coralites that stick up and the polyp sticking out. So really unique kind of structure. Like look at this one, like little arms almost sticking out. Like a mini Duncan. Very cool coral. Jedi Mind Trick. Everybody knows what that is, but you know it's $14.99. Literally get green, red polyps, purple lip. Grows fast, so that's an always popular one. Sprung Stunner.
Can't try to kill these if you wanted to.
Yeah, it just grows so fast you can be chipping it out and throwing it away or giving it to friends. That's a popular one. In here is the green Pasilla we were talking about. You can get for like $7 or $8 and have fields of. Super fuzzy, always open, grows fast. That's a great one. There's also little stunners in here. Nice nuclear green trumpets. I don't get these a lot. Like these will probably be gone by the end of today.
Probably.
Super fast. That giant Pallyrock when we started, right here, frags of it, $9.99. The bright gold with the skirt that's purple and kind of pink. So that's a fantastic one.
Yeah, these are gorgeous polyps. It's great that they grow really fast too.
And then mega metallic. These green buttons, and you can see the contrast on the phone. Fantastic. These are your starter calls, $7.99. You have metallic green buttons. You have purple people eaters. Bright red body with the green mouth, $7.99. Pasilla frags, more trumpets, these bright yellow zoos, see them with the green centers,
more
turbinarias.
dragon eyes.
Something rare here. I'll give you a reef nerd coral. This is called Pachyceras. Kind of grows like a Monty. You can see the ridges in it. Pachyceras is like a pachydermic elephant. They call it elephant skin. That's what it looks like. You can see the growth on it. Super fast. $7.99. Fantastic. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed the Facebook Live. We're going to be doing a lot more of them. I hope to do the next one at the aquaculture facility so I can show you what like Josh, Eric, Chris, and I do over there. We really try to do a lot of this and keep it cheap so we can get some of these reefers into the hobby and still have the high-end stuff at like a really good price. Sometimes you come in, it'll be empty. You might just be missing a shipment, but ask us. We literally have tons of stuff over there, and we'd love to show it to you. Thank you.